So what do you have, Philip? Are you here for the sealed bid?
No, I'm not here for a seal.
To open no bids?
So, Midwest Energy, who's easement agreement to sign, because they have to put that line on our property down there at San Diego. So they're going to do. They'll give us $1,000 to lay the line. They have to put a vault in over there by where it'll be off the state's right of way, because the state doesn't want to leave that on this right of way.
Oh,
So we're gonna get more money out of this than we got out of
And
this.
then we got out of the ground. Yeah. I thought Nenaskog was gonna supply down.
They did, Minnescall does, but Midwest's line comes up that west side of the road and feeds town.
Yeah,
And so they have to go across with Reggie Fisher, come up there, and
Yeah.
then they have to, because they don't want any overhead lines.
right.
And so they'll bore 50 highway. And then
Oh, so they'll
bore all
do
the way.
this, so Nenaskog can supply the electricity to that intersection.
Minnescall
No.
supplies it. This is Midwest Energy, which is out of Great Bend.
Yeah.
Who St. John buys their
Oh.
electric from.
Yes. Okay.
It's actually a half a mile north of the golf course where that line comes across. It feeds Stafford and all goes all the
Yeah.
way to Kansas.
You said okay, 1,000?
$1,000.
There'll be a ball and some other things.
Christmas party.
That's what they're gonna do with your truck.
We're gonna plant flowers in that thing. Yard art.
Yard art.
So that require a motion to accept the agreement with Midwest.
Is there a number on that, or do we?
It's just an agreement.
I make a motion that we accept the easement agreement with Midwest Energy.
Move the second, we accept the agreement with Midwest Energy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Place, that's supposed for you to sign, so you can
Yeah.
go along and
All
ask
three?
to put your, I don't know if it's all,
Three?
it's usually print, sign, what do you think there, notary public?
Weird. No, we don't do it. There's another side.
It just says, Stafford County. It's free night school.
It's really like it. Some interesting stuff. In the biochemistry research lab. It's supposed to be for cleaning
They can't do it anymore
and
since
stuff,
that.
but only has time, graduate students, let them help with their experiments. He'll call and explain what he's doing.
Copy
He's
this.
enjoying it, so.
Now you want to
Well, you gotta sign it.
You need a copy?
You gotta, no, I would keep it for your files. I would probably lose it.
Yeah, I presume so.
Well, I could give it to Cindy, but then she put it somewhere and then she said.
Since there's
"Where- where
lines,
is that?"
we can just sign them above the line.
That can't hurt. That is all.
Okay. So, Ryan, what are we gonna do?
The only bid I got was from Phil Nusser for $25,000.
Sweet.
Yeah, if you find that in writing, I
What do you want to do? Just go Purple Wave?
Did we not get any seal bids at all?
No.
I'd consider.
I got a call from a township in Edwards County. He's a retired Ford County weed director, and he talked to the guy down in Wichita that did it. And he called me Friday, and I said, well, their bids are due today. He's like, oh, okay. So he called me this week and asked what we're going on. I said, I'd talk to you guys and let him know what's happening.
I guess when we made bids, we'll put it in on.
I built it bigger, so. Bryce, yeah. He's a local guy that can load it for you a little bit too.
Well, that's always, I say Purple Wave is the guy down in Wichita, so that's where he would recommend doing it for to get more of the, he said he'd have better luck with that, so. It's up to you guys what you want to do.
Is Purple Wave going very good now? I've heard it.
Well,
That's just what the big iron guys did.
They've actually moved their offices in Manhattan. They downsized their office in Manhattan.
Doesn't matter to me, whatever you guys.
Should, can we put a reserve on them?
Not on purple line. You can't go big iron, I believe. Can you stay around a little bit?
yeah,
I got a question.
Make you know their mind. Or, if you would let me do a sealed bid for another week, the guy from Edwards County would send in a bid.
If we didn't have any more interest in that, I think we would put it
Would put it
on.
on. Okay.
Yeah. Did Phil get the trailer on there with that, or was it just the trailer? Or the sheriff's department? The sheriff's department's got the gooseneck trailer down there? Was that put on one there too?
Oh, no, that wasn't on.
That can't be sold on, Purple Wave then.
So we have to do that, we'll see if we.
Yeah, I was shocked we didn't even have any low ball offers for a 2010 pickup.
Ty was planning on putting in the offer, and I just forgot.
Jim Green said he was gonna put one in, and he didn't put one in either, I guess.
But that's, I guess I'd have Ty come back this weekend. What's inside the truck look like? Is it decent?
It's nice.
It's diesel, right?
Yeah.
That might be one drawback.
What's decent?
Did the one thing I thought would work out good
Yeah.
for him. But no, but it's, yeah, it's
Single wheel, one ton. What year is it?
2010, 95,000 miles on it.
That's actually what's pretty bidding on.
This
This
is
is
yours.
just about the right time to start having problems. I hope not. The engine's diesel.
My 2010 said that front's got 205,000 on it.
No fuel plugs or nothing.
Never touched the motor. I rebuilt the front end last year.
I say,
That's it.
that's all I've ever bought for my spray truck is diesel.
They used to be a good deal because you could get down in the ditches with them, not worry about catching on fire. But now that they have this emission control stuff, they're almost worse than a gas.
Are they really?
Yeah. I mean, that little afterburner that they put in there, I mean,
I never thought about that.
it'll be glowing red hot.
Because that's what when it starts cleaning the exhaust, you just go down the road and it pops up, it's cleaning the
You
exhaust.
start smelling it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's because it's glowing red hot under there.
Never thought about that.
Well,
GT will have something to do with that. Oh, that's what
So does your new truck have what on it?
That's interesting.
What do you think you play?
well, I was just thinking whether
He didn't thought.
Yeah.
to extend the sealed bid for 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Three,
It's just gonna cost him more money.
I think I've got the one.
I think that's good. I mean, you get that many thousands
Well,
of people
I'm saying,
looking
all
at
right.
it, you can't argue with that.
So if we go with Purple Wave, then the guy from Edwards County can bid on it.
Yep.
got just as good a shot as anybody else.
And you're selling that as a unit, sprayer and everything altogether?
I can separate them.
You haven't taken it off.
I haven't. Because that's what, I had a guy from Wichita that called and was very interested in it, and he was like, well, I'd want the whole thing as units.
Yeah.
That's why I never did it. Even though on the sealed bids, they were separate, and if they would've got separate, I would've taken it off.
If you put it online, I would not
Okay.
separate it.
Yeah, I'll just,
Is that set up, like if a guy wanted to use that for a farm tractor, is that, and, you know, use that setup you have on there now for like spraying lawn fences, stuff like that? Could you unbolt that tank and whole setup and pull it off the fork button and set it down, or is it a pretty major deal putting it on and off?
because most of them are put on as just, just
Slide in.
slide in.
So it's the
Yeah,
pump
this
and
is
the
just-
tank and everything all together?
Yeah,
You just unplug your
everything.
plug.
Right. Because the only add-on, only thing attached to is you just undo the hose reel, and then you run it, hook it up to what you have going to your units. Everything else just slide it out.
I say go for it. I put it on Purple Wave, see what happens.
I'm ready just to get it done, so yeah,
I'm a little reluctant not being able to put a reserve on it, but if that's the rules, that's the rules.
I think you can put a reserve to get big guy. And you got a local guy trying to help you out, because he's trying to make as much money as he can.
I like the idea of the reserve with the big iron. If you have
So
problems.
does it cost us, that's the only I like Purple Wave, it doesn't cost us anything to do it.
You have no upfront money with big guy.
What about,
And then there's a seller's premium.
is there a source?
Yes, and it's less than what Purple Wave is.
I think purple is 10% both sides, isn't it?
Yes, and you only get it once on Purple. It's cheaper.
I thought Purple Wave they're just the buyer.
Right. But on Purple Wave, you got seller and buyer paying for it.
The seller doesn't. So it didn't cost us anything. I got whatever was my final bid is what our check we got from Purple Wave.
Okay, and it's the other way around, because I did have to pay some.
Yeah, on Purple Wave, it's just the cost of selling it goes to the buyer.
But are we really, if we advertise it with a big iron or purple wave, and we only get a $10,000 bid, are we really gonna go no on the sub?
On Purple Wave.
You have no choice.
Yeah, but I mean, would we say no, we wanna keep it down there for a backup truck for Ryan, or you wanna just let it go? Does it matter if we don't have a reserve?
Once you sign up all the paperwork, you gotta go, if it gets what you
Yeah.
say, you don't.
That's what I'm saying, just let it go. So the reserve doesn't matter that much to me.
I just want to get it out of it.
If you'd like to do purple wave, and the guy down there thinks we'll get the most out of our purple wave, I'm fine with purple wave. It would be nice to do a local guy, bigger, and I would leave that up to your decision.
So you're gonna do that, yeah?
That's my opinion. What do you guys
That's a lot of
think?
pressure.
Yeah. I say we do, do I need to make that a motion? I think we're putting it on Ryan!
Nice. Nice. All right.
So will that be a month-long deal, or how? What is Big Iron and Purple Wave? Are they?
I don't know when they're-
21 days?
I don't know when it would go on.
They,
auction.
they don't put it on right away.
No.
Because they gotta do a lot of picture taking. It'll take you about 5 weeks to get rid of it.
I don't know how it works with Purple Wave, whether they come out, but I mean, I think
They just
Bryce
come out, yeah, that's what, they just come out and take the pictures. and-
write everything up, so, okay. So it's about the same.
Yeah, I think they're both about the same.
The big iron will take it someplace to put a sign on.
Well, I left it right in the book.
They leave them here.
I think if you
Well-
want, if you have it on display, they'll give you something.
Because all that stuff was sold,
Well,
what we sell out here on Purple Wave. All it was sitting here.
Yeah.
well, there was a skid loader out here on 4th Street that had a sign up on it, and then there was trucks or Stafford,
Yeah,
was
there was
parked
one
out.
out here.
and they put a sign on it. So it was
go by, you can see it. So I did, but once you put it in a nice area, so it looks beautiful, and then the drone will come in and take the pictures, so it's a pretty fascinating deal, really. They're pretty good at marketing.
Well, what I'll do is, I just pull it out the door and leave it set there, and then pull it back in the rest of the day. That's what I've been doing, expecting if anybody wants to stop by and look at it.
They get kind of pictures where they take the pictures and stuff sometimes, but whatever.
All right.
Good decision. Don't lose sleep over it.
Yep. It's all on you.
Sink or swim, buddy.
Great. Thank you.
Pardon, no, I'll let Phil first. I've had a couple of phone calls from South Seward. Phil's had a phone call from South Seward Township. I think the call that Phil had was from Golden Milk Feeders, and then I went over and talked to them. Basically, their complaint is they were getting trucks stuck in the middle of the road. Their trucks that bring in medical supplies, vet supplies, can't get down the road. I drove over there. It's horrendous. I've had a couple of residents from South Seward call me, complaining about the roads. I told them, the people that called me, I basically told them commissioners really don't have any say-so over the township. It's the township board. They will get something changed. They've got to, go that way because we really have no recourse. Now, as far as Golden Belt feeders, I don't know what we need to do about that because that is an entity in Stafford County that employs 32 people. They pay over $90,000 in property tax. I mean, they are a big employer.
I got a text from them last week.
I called and talked.
I got a text from Stan last week.
I called and talked to one of the board members and told him, I said, I'd like to come to one of you guys' board meetings next time you have a board meeting. And he said, we basically usually don't. And I told him, you need to have one. You need to have one, and I need to come. And I mean, we really don't have any say-so, but I thought maybe I could help him. I mean, find a road grader, maintainer. I don't know. I would hate. I don't know what we need to do there. I mean, I had LaDonna kind of figure out what they pay in South Seward Township on property taxes to the township. It looks like they pay around $25,000 to $30,000. They've got 4 miles of road that they would like. They got a mile off the highway, a mile in front of them, and then they use the road that goes 2 miles to the west. I mean, I don't know whether we need to tell the township if you give up the $25,000 or whatever that they pay into your township, the county will take that money and put that money on that road. I don't know. I don't know how big you guys are spread, what you guys want to do. I know probably 15 years ago they built that road up really good coming off the highway and rocked it, and then they never did anything else.
Longer than it was in the 80s.
But I mean, when you build a road
It
up,
was downstairs.
when you build a road up, I mean, it's not you build it, it's good, and you walk away from it, never touching it. But I think it just wasn't maintained, didn't keep rock on it.
Road staying constant.
They got a new guy coming on.
Is that
On
on?
grading the road.
Yeah,
Township.
they put themselves behind it.
Yeah.
It is not, the longer you defer, the longer you wait.
It is. I mean,
But I think the feedlot would work with them. I mean, there was 2 horrendous holes right east of the feedlot. And I went in there, Stan was gone, I talked to the second guy, and I said, you guys have a clay pit? And he just said, well, it's full of water right now, but I said, so whenever they get ready to fill those holes, you guys could probably supply the clay to fill them. And, oh, yeah. I mean, I think the feedlot would work with them, however they would, if they would talk back and forth. But I think they've got a bird where nobody wants to talk to nobody.
Well, yeah, but I think Stan's trying to built that bridge.
Yeah, he is, he's been nice.
10
He's
years
nice.
ago, I
Yeah.
think is when the bridge happened, and
Yeah.
Stan's trying to make it right.
That's the text, he said he was nice.
So we have
Yeah.
visited this many times over the last, but well,
That was in the early eighties when I was running motor grader and didn't have enough tires, I took the dozer. I actually got pulled by the dozer rolling up the road, so that was that 3 miles off of 281. But
So you
Still.
don't take a grader over and over again, can you fix it without hauling dirt in there?
they got this new rock, find some rock, and that stuff. I mean, just like a lot of the holes that they fixed in the townships are asphalt stuff. A lot of the holes and stuff at the top is what we're doing, so they have a bottom to it. Trouble with it is trying to get something settled down before the winter comes. I mean, it's gonna be bad enough right now, things so wet.
Yep.
If we have a wet winter, it's really gonna be, next spring, all these roads are open. So, you know,
That road coming off 281 wasn't terrible. I mean, it had a few blowout deals in it. The road right there east of the feedlot, there's 2 holes in it that's as big as this room, probably a foot and a half deep.
I had a mechanic go through there yesterday, when he got to my house, he was not very happy.
But then there are 2 roads north of that, which are sandy roads. It'd be hard to get a good road on. And they've got a few, they're decent, except they've got about 3 bad spots. And if you can go in there with the clay or rock or whatever,
and what they need to do, they need to sit down. Because when they start hauling, they go down this road and so they, and then run over and go down this road. Well, if you're gonna obliterate, I mean, if you don't make a big this problem, make it in one place and have your people slow down and don't allow the trucks to just go anywhere, everywhere they want to.
the biggest problem with those
That's what
blown out
I-
holes is they're running 60 miles an hour and they get a hole broke out and then it just keeps breaking it out farther down the road.
I mean, that's what they've got to do with all the mechanics down south. These are the roads you use no others. If you do, you have to find.
You guys got a couple of roads that they had blown out pretty good in our townships, that were as nice as they were.
Yeah. But it, I mean.
But you gotta stay on top of it. You can't fix it and just say it's good and walk away and never do anything again.
But I was actually surprised that
That's,
they didn't spend any more time, they did fix them, but he stayed on top of it, and they're in good, I mean, that road was in bad shape. That's where they're pulling all the dirt out.
Oh.
Back up.
yeah, it's
Oh.
finally pretty
He's
decent.
got a good road.
Yeah.
That's the best that road's ever been in my lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of, we were gonna do some work with this fall in both townships and most of that. Basically, wait till next spring because
Can they prepay you their road work and help with their budget here?
they can't be. I mean, however they do that,
Because I mean, the money you don't,
because I probably, if they wait to pay us right at the end of the year, it does actually, that's actually good. Because it happens in that time frame when we really can't transfer the money, so basically it helps our cash flow, and that's about it.
but if you put that, if the township has $50,000 left over on their budget they haven't spent, you know, and they don't transfer it into the machinery fund, then it goes into their,
Capital outlay or whatever.
yeah, I mean, it kind of goes into where you can't hardly touch it without showing that the next year you overspent your budget. You know, if you have a $100,000 budget for next year and you carry 50 over, and you say, well, I can spend 150, then your budget, your auditor's gonna say you spent 150. You spent 50 over your budget, we're gonna raise your property tax.
Yeah.
And actually, some of them have written a check on the 31st, and just after the first of the year, which is all that. It's not an issue. Yeah, that's an odd question though, so.
They've never
Yeah.
said anything.
So, are you gonna talk to Stan?
I can.
If I go, if they do have a township board meeting and I go meet with them, I mean, you want me to tell them to help them out, or are you too swamped where just tell them, see if they'll try to get something done?
I'm not opposed to it. No, I mean, I don't think. I mean, I think they should come pay for it. I don't think we as a county ought to stand.
No, if you go up
Is what I'm
there,
trying to say.
if you go up there, I think you need to charge them the same hourly rate that you're charging these other townships.
Oh, well, I think-
When I say help them out, I mean,
So-
take our equipment, they pay the money. But I do think that I think the feedlot would help them if they could, would help them build the roads, would help them maintain the roads. Because, I mean, the feedlot does understand, I mean, there's a lot of truck traffic going up and down there, they would probably buy half the rock, I don't know. But they just need to get together and talk, and I don't think that's happening.
Actually, there's just trains in Great Bend out there. They have been trying to use some AB3 problems. It's not like the white tornado stuff that we're using, so it's a little harder rock, and actually I've been up and looked at it. It's a little more expensive, but it's closer, so it's got part of the trucking, it's got part of the freight in there, so actually it won't cost them to be all that bad. Consider what we have to do to freight stuff in. So,
When I was on Douglas Township Board, we would get the rock from Great Bend Co-op, would pick us up that gray hard rock. But you couldn't say any road day, you would tell them, and then when they haul beans down there, then they'd pick rock up, so you only had to pay freight one way. And I mean, that was the cheapest way we found to get rock.
yeah, and it depends on whether it's a 1-inch rock or 2-inch rock. This is the type of rock that you use to find together, hard. Because if it's a bunch of marbles, it's just going to sit there and roll around until you get some fines to bind it together.
We used that AB3 for a while, and we found we patched a hole with it, and you grade, and you hit that 10-foot hole, the whole hole starts sliding down the road.
Well, either that or so hard as you just bounce right over the
Yeah,
top
you're
of it, and then it'll start. What we found is on most of our roads, we fix a spot, it'll break out here, on either side of the road.
Yeah.
So, but that's a base problem, so you're still gonna fix it eventually.
Yeah.
It's just weak right there, you strengthen this, and then the weak spots move away from it, so eventually you get them all. It's just like,
So we gonna get with them and talk to them?
If they'll never call me and tell me we won't have a meeting, I mean, I can call them again.
I think we'll have to talk to them all the time. Which I don't have.
But if I tell them that, at least try to get those roads right there fixed up, I mean, we would help them, it would be our idea of helping them would be, they pay the same rate that other townships do.
I think that's only fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should go up and fix it for free. I just didn't want to
Years ago,
overstay.
we ended up doing that, and I don't think the county got anything out of it, because the township didn't have the equipment to do it. That's what was done. The township didn't have the equipment to do it, so we spent a lot of, about 3 weeks up there. Those were cool but that's beside the point. But when we get all done here, they come driving down the road in a brand new motor grader.
Oh, yeah? Nice of them.
And they had, they had a better machine than what we had when it was all said and done. So you're gonna talk, you want me to talk to Stan, or?
I would talk to Stan and see what he would like to do.
Well,
I mean,
I don't, it doesn't bother me that he texts me, but I'll tell him that my hands are really tied, I really can't.
It sure looks a lot better if you talk.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
that-
You're
You can't really step over the top of the township and just.
No.
No. And I'm not saying that we're going to tell them we're going to do this and we're going to do that. I just thought we'd go up there and offer, to help. And if they have the money, but don't have an operator, I know they've had operating problems.
I think it will get better. It will get better.
All right.
Okay. Carolyn, you have something quick?
They have an appointment, don't they?
Yeah.
So I can, she said it was only gonna be 5 minutes or so. I can,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Who's that?
Brenda, Travis.
Sorry. Is this the right seat?
Yeah, that's
okay.
okay.
All right. I just came in basically because of some things that were said last week. I met a new friend yesterday and had a nice little chat, and rather than coming in angry, because I was very angry after watching the meeting last week, she suggested I prepare a little statement that explains why I'm here and to convey my concern. I've been a volunteer firefighter in Stafford County for almost 20 years. I started in 2000. And like I said, I reviewed the comments and the meeting from last week, and at approximately the 57-minute mark, Commissioner Wyckoff, you referred to female firefighters as gals and how you doubted that some of them were capable of carrying out the same firefighting duties as some of the males do. How it could. I'm here to point out that you have not interviewed any female firefighters, have you? No? Or observed any of our, or all of our firefighting duties when we're on a scene? So you don't really have any experience or first-hand knowledge of what we do and what we're capable of and what happens when we're on a scene. There were comments basically made solely on our gender, which I guess that's what got me angry. Making comments just basically solely on our gender. I don't feel that's right. I want to tell you that we divide duties on the fire department not by gender, but by capability, and people have all different levels of capabilities for different situations. I appreciate your decision on voting on getting new gear, but I felt I needed to make that point that we're all firefighters. Once we put on the gear, we're not male, we're not female, we're not old, we're not young, we are firefighters, and we do what we need to do to get the job done in any situation. And I can answer any questions you have, or any, if you want to ask me anything, and if you have any comments, I expect them to be about the fire department to be based solely on facts and not assumptions and hearsay. So that's what I wanted to say. So,
I guess to clarify my statements, right off the bat, I need to apologize. I'm not a very good public speaker, and a lot of times I have a hard time getting across my point of view, and then especially when I get flustered, sometimes right words don't come out. And I guess if you watched the meeting, you saw that me and Davin had a very lengthy discussion on this. Most of our discussion was on the fact that he said, or we have 53 firefighters. They all need bunker gear. It's going to be around $174,000. You know, I questioned him on whether every firefighter needed gear. If they do need gear, is there any way we can stretch this out over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? As far as the statement, I do think I remember the statement that you were talking about, and it was one statement where I basically said there's 3 gals. I misspoke. I should have said 3 firefighters. I'm not a sexist. I believe a woman can do everything a man can. A woman is entitled to fire gear. A woman can drive a truck. There is nothing a man can do that a woman can't do. I don't think there's any differential. I agree with everything you say. So, I mean,
I appreciate that. I mean,
women are just as good drivers. Women can run axes. I see no differential. My mistake was I said gals, and I accept that. I should have said firefighters. You know, it's up to the department chiefs, it's up to the department chiefs as far as, you know, they know the firefighters' abilities and who can do what. It's not our decision. It shouldn't be our decision. It's the fire chiefs, and they will determine that on the ability, not on the sex. The 3 people, to clarify why I brought those 3 individuals up, the first one I brought up that I had concern of why they need a bunker gear, they haven't been, and this is off the, what do you call it, the run report. The first individual I mentioned hasn't been to a fire since 2015. But on Davin's report to us, she's a strong yes, she needs bunker gear. You know, maybe, I don't know why the firefighter hasn't been showing up for fires. Maybe it's because they have young children at home and in a few years they'll be more active. If they haven't shown up for a fire in 3 years and they have 2 more years, can we put that gear on for 2 years? The other 2 gals that I had mentioned, the other 2 firefighters that I had mentioned is our full-time paramedic and EMT. If we have a structure fire where they're going to make entry, I would assume that the paramedic or EMT that's there needs to be in the paramedic and EMT, you know, deal. Same way as far as car fires or oil field fires, where you have more chance of smoke inhalation. So I mean, if we could buy them wildland fire gear, that would be $410 instead of bunker gear. And that's my only 3 concerns on those 3 individuals.
Well, can I explain a couple things on that?
Yep.
If you're on scene of a structure fire, I agree completely. The paramedic should be in a paramedic capacity. I mean, if someone gets hurt, they're going to get hurt bad. They need medical attention quickly. Kansas Department of, the Kansas State Firefighters Association and Fire Marshal's Office have certain safety regulations as far as if you're on a fire scene, what gear you have to be wearing if you're within a certain distance of a building. If you're within 1.5 times the height of the building, you have to be in full bunker gear because of collapse, because of explosion. So if they are close to the fire scene because of that, they would technically need to be in bunker gear. We can move them farther away from the scene, but then again, they're farther away if someone gets hurt. So at all times on those scenes, the ambulance won't be right next to them. So they won't need bunker gear. They can be farther away. But there are times that if something goes bad, drastically, horribly bad on a scene, there's other people that are closer also that are there maybe just in EMT capacity. If someone goes down in a fire and there's no one else out there that's capable of doing it, if that EMT has the gear, they can go in and pick them up and drag them out. But typically you don't do 1-person entry into a structure. So they will never be on their own. But I hate public speaking, I get nervous, I'm sorry. But again, back to the laws, regulations, and safety things we have to follow. I mean, if we don't follow them and something happens, our life insurance policies, the ones we have, the normal ones you have, you know, going through the FRA, they will not cover us if something happens and we're not properly geared. Sorry, have a drink? Please. Sorry. Our policies will not cover us if something goes wrong and we're not properly geared. So basically, I haven't been on a fire run for a long time. My bunker gear started expiring last year. So I cannot put my family in a situation where if something goes wrong and I go down, they don't have any life insurance. It only leaves the county on the hook. And that is not right. I don't feel that's right. You know, so that's why I don't go right now. Because I can't. I could, but then I die, something happens, my family does nothing. And I don't believe it should be on the county to be responsible for people going on a fire with gear that they know is expired and being expected to and making them do it. So I choose not to. Some firefighters still choose to, and that's their choice. I can't with my family situation, with my son with special needs, the lifelong commitment for him is very expensive. Without 2 parents working, we can't do it. So I understand your concern with one's not going on fires and not being there, but and I see your point on that. I agree with that. If they're not going to go, if they're not going to be there, they don't need gear. They shouldn't be on the active roster. I agree with you on that. So I just hope, my whole point in coming here was to voice my opinion, my concerns about what you said. And you explained it, that you're not that way. You just misspoke. And public speaking for you is about like me. I stutter, I stammer, I run in circles, and I can't think straight. So I appreciate you being honest with me about that.
We were just brought up, I mean, as far as the bunker gear being outdated, we knew that this date was coming. It was just brought to us a month ago that we need to start buying some bunker gear. So it's not like we knew the bunker gear was going out last year. I didn't vote for the bunker gear last meeting, My main deal is, I thought we need to get something more hashed out as far as, you know, whether we're gonna buy it over 3 years, 2 years, whether we need to buy it on 1 year. The bunker gear that we bought, voted to buy last year is just bunker gear, it's not wildland fire gear. So I'm sure when it's 110 and we're fighting CRP fires, that's gonna be a problem.
Well, now, our wildland gear actually, from my understanding, I know at the station in Hudson, ours was bought in 14 and 15, so our wildland gear at Hudson, I actually did an inventory of it. It will start expiring in 2024 and 2025.
Okay.
On the Hudson, not the wildland gear, there was some bought a few years back, so I don't know if that's the way at all the other stations, but I know at Hudson, our wildland gear's good for a few more. Yeah, it's
See, I was under the understanding, I was under the understanding that it was all coming.
No,
So-
the wildland gear is newer than the bunker gear.
Just the structure.
I know for sure, at least in Hudson. I don't know about the other stations. They didn't.
So that makes it clear why you did that. I was wondering why you went by normal. I do, looking on these run reports, since you guys are all from the Hudson Department, it's very impressive how many people show up for the fires. I mean, you guys have, I would say on average, you're probably double the attendance of fires that you guys go to. I mean, you guys have a very good active fire department out there. I'm amazed how quick I was starting to get kickback Saturday from people that are in the fire department as far as what everybody thought I said and thought they knew what my opinions were. You know, how quick it got around that I didn't feel like women should drive trucks, didn't feel like women should have bunker gear. Hopefully I clarified how my point of view is, and it's too bad that they won't get that around as quick as what my real point of view is.
I think it will. Social media is powerful.
So, I hope I answered all you guys'
You did.
questions.
You did, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the time.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Caroline?
Job's done.
Did you get the email from the Department of Interior where there's a new point person that's been hired? Her name was Shannon. But anyway, did you get that email yesterday? Okay, I will forward it.
Who did you get it from?
From the Department of Interior. So apparently it came from the letter we sent. I don't know how else they got mine.
That's interesting.
You went through one Wednesday?
I know.
I didn't.
When did
And it
you
wouldn't
get
have
that?
had email
Yesterday.
address. Yeah, there were no email addresses on there. Well,
Department of Ag and Department of Interior, and they hired this lady to be a point person to feel out concerns and stuff. I'll forward it. It was an introductory letter. Hi, I am so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm happy to announce that that has been. But, I don't remember all. I gave her phone number and email address, and I just assumed that the whole world got it.
Only the important
only you.
people.
You are. He is important, isn't he?
Yep, I just figured out how to forward it.
You're like my daughter, she got a tweet from her text
I said, you must be on that list, I'm not on your list.
So the
That's
G.
my response.
so
I want you to read it,
so
make
they
sure I'm
can
not
bring
getting
progress.
myself in trouble. If I do, you'll have to defend me in court.
You're pretty tight.
I don't need it.
I tried. Only different than the drink from the top.
They have a meeting tomorrow.
It's
Ten in the morning.
It's a
I don't know whether they want us to stay there. I would try to make that manageable. Because I would like to hear what their explanations are. I wouldn't think it'd be a bad deal. I mean, I would hate for you to show up over there and want to say something and say you're not interested. If you're wanting to make a statement, I think that.
It seemed to be what?
I mean, it would be nice to understand why they're, I mean, what they were saying is that they were pretty happy and new stuff was coming down the line and from Jackie, this is, there's nothing new coming on. Where is does the board feel like that? And the conversation between Warren and Garfield, I mean, is the communication there wrong? I mean, maybe they think they're making some great strides and Jackie thinks they are, Jackie doesn't. But I would ask her, you talk to her, you say this is happening, she says it's not. Where's the communication from there? And I wonder, should we send a letter, basically that same letter, should we send it to our new governor and our new, I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I mean, our new, yeah. I mean, I would think it needs to go to the governor, and then she appoints a new secretary.
But that won't happen to change.
But I
say
get
you
the
might as
money.
well wait till January.
Send it today, I don't know.
It would-
who I would send it to.
As far as going to do it to the governor until she actually takes office.
Or it
Till
can
she's
be
sworn in.
in her Senate email or something like that. I don't know that, you know.
You could do that.
I mean, I thought maybe she might have less things on her plate right now, and brother, if she gets sworn in, she might be more likely to read it. I don't know.
I bet she's got more. She's got a lot of appointments and stuff.
But I will try to
Her
make that
age is
next week.
reading.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like the way that they have a plan for this application. And then we talked to, was that a people or like, I mean, other than saying.
Well, that's my impression. When we went to that meeting, that it was all we needed was letter of support.
It's part of their fault, they haven't done It's a job. I appreciate your effort you're putting towards this.
Well, I apologize, and I will forward an email to everybody. Or I'll send it to Nita, and she can send it out.
I've had
Maybe it's a
several,
hoax.
I don't know.
I've had several people really compliment you and your department. I mean, I get to the grocery store and they think I've done a wonderful job. It's the best thing that's could ever happen in the county. So there are a lot of people in this community that I mean, they've actually come out and said, like a big pat on the back for the job you've done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the support I always feel like I have here, so thank you.
Tom, do you have something?
No, I've actually need to visit with the country attorney, so.
Okay.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for the October 31st meeting.
Second. Second, the documents, October 1st. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I move we approve the tax roll corrections.
All two of them.
I second that.
It's moved second, we accept the tax roll corrections. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
I don't recognize that name. I think it lives like 2 miles from me.
Yeah. Hmm?
You want me to have it?
Is he here?
Yep. I think that's his figure now. Yep.
Yeah.
Navin?
Okay, here's these two.
Thank you.
Don't have any checks today,
Really?
I guess. Unless she's gonna spring them on me.
Next week will be checks, and yes, there will be a lot.
I went through this, what you call this, a spreadsheet, run report, but I looked at the run report with Nita. I found that very interesting. I mean, out of the 53 firefighters, and I guess I never did just really count as far as how many people were on here. 53 firefighters. We have one firefighter that hasn't made it to a fire since 2015. We have 6 firefighters that haven't been to a fire run in 18. We have 5 firefighters that have only been to 1 run in 18. We have 8 firefighters that have only been to 2 runs in 18. One of the firefighters that has been to 1 run in 18, the last run they were on was they went to 2 in 15. I don't know how it's going to be determined who's going to get gear. I guess our discussion, like I reiterated today to Brenda, sometimes I don't get my point across. If it is state mandated that everybody in a fire department has to have bunker gear and well-known fire gear, that's fine. Is there any way that we can get this spread out over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, so we don't have to spend $174,000 in 1 year? That's what I'm getting at. So the person that hasn't been to a fire meeting in 3 years, she's down here, yes, if she needs bunker gear. If she is not coming, sorry, that firefighter is not coming to fires because they have a young child at home. In maybe 2 years, are they going to get back more, want to come more to them? I mean, can we put that equipment off for 2 years, 3 years? I mean, that's kind of what I would like you to look at. I did like looking at this, and I found that very interesting. I would like to know how many fire runs these different departments get called out on. Because I'm telling you, I was astounded on how many fire runs that the people in Hudson go to. I mean, they over double what a lot of the other fire departments. Do they get called out that much more, or do they just respond that much more?
They have a larger area covered, a lot of They cover from 4th Street to 281, everything that went east of there, so it's in response.
Okay.
So they have a pretty good site.
Which includes Quivira.
Yeah,
Right, Quivira, yeah,
that makes sense.
which,
Before we get paid, do we charge them a bill? When we go on Quivira?
we don't
Ask him.
currently.
Since they're actually not taxpayers in the
Ask him.
county?
Right.
But they come back and help us.
Oh, they do?
That they
They're
do,
on it, cool.
that they do.
It's my understanding that on the fire departments, I do think that the north end of the county is different than that deals with the cities. They're supposed to make half the meetings, half the fires. Is that right? Is that just a suggestion? We don't actually, because I really don't understand how we can kick people off a volunteer fire department.
Right, yeah, that's the hardest part there, is where do you set that line? Because if a station has 10 calls, and 7 of those calls happen between the hours of 8 to 5, when somebody's working a job, and then one of them comes out when they're out of town, so they only make 2 of those calls, do we hold that against that individual? And that's where it actually gets really difficult. It's like I mentioned to you, somebody that makes 12 meetings a year, that's great, but it doesn't do us any good as far as runs. So we'd like to see you make 50% of the calls and 50% of the runs, but it's hard to take action against somebody if they don't meet that. And this has kind of been an ongoing discussion, even at the chiefs meeting, is where do we set that? What do we make that to where, because we do know that we have people on the roster that aren't making any event. And so in answer to your question is, yeah, absolutely, I never wanted to replace this gear all this year. Because then, even in 10 years, we're back to the same thing, where it's all coming through at the same time. So, replacing 25 this year, and then the thought was 25 after the first year, because it will get us into the same price as what it is this year, and we avoid that price hike. And then the remainder of the year would actually be purchased until 2020, when the remainder of that year would be purchased.
The remainder of the wildland fire gear or remainder of the structure gear?
The wildland gear is still in date. It was purchased not long ago, 3 or 4 years ago is when the wildland gear was purchased. So we still have another 5-6 years left on the wildland gear before it actually comes up to full replacement. And even when the wildland gear was purchased this time, because it was all gotten at the same time as all the structure gear, it was split up into two separate purchases. We had 2 different gears to try and break that up and spread it out a little bit so that we're not wildland gears significantly less expensive than what the structure gear is, but we're still trying to split that up.
They weren't purchased at the same time.
The wildland,
In the structure gear,
I would have to go back and look. I can go back and look for you on that if you want to get that.
is all the structural gear feeding through that grant at the same time?
I can sure look for you and let you know.
As far as the spreadsheet that you brought with the people that's on the departments, I like that. I was wondering if we could maybe get a update every 6 months. If we could get like how many runs that they've been on. And I think you could do it just the way I did by getting a run,
I think it's okay.
through payroll, as far as who has actually showed up. Talking to some of your fire chiefs, they said that at meetings, they take a roster of who's made the meetings, and then they text it to you, take a picture of it, text it to you. I'd like to know how many meetings that people's made, how many runs they made, to where we can see what individuals are, very active, and what departments aren't, and if there's things that we need to discuss. I do think that it's important that we know every firefighter, on the bunker gear and on the wildland gear. There'd be a nice deal over here, the bunker gear expires in 2020, the wildland gear expires in 2021. So if we could get that every 6 months, I think that would be a great help to us, as far as not being snapped up on And, maybe before, I don't know, I felt like this was sprung on me all at one time. Maybe if we could have talked about it a little bit more, could have come up with a better deal. Sometimes I get very aggravated in discussions. So, but that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see two. I'd like if we could start getting those maybe first meeting in January, first meeting in July. I'd appreciate that. What do you think, Tim?
I agree, and I also hate to think of a bunker gear hanging on a hook for 3 or 4 years and never getting put on. I mean, that's a waste of money. I do recall at one time we had a fire station out on the eastern part of the county that the wildland gear hung on a hook in the shed, and mice had built nests in them, and so there was a waste of money. It wasn't properly taken care of. One either was the building, which is no longer. But anyway, it's just the fact that I just hate. I hate to see almost $4,000 worth of gear hanging on a hook for 3 or 4 years and never put on. And it's a waste of money. And it's tough to get a volunteer to come to every meeting and respond to every fire. I realize it. But I think we can pare this list down somewhat, not totally. And I wasn't aware that the structure fire, everybody around that fire had to have gear on, even though the ambulance was hopefully setting a block or 2 away.
You don't have to have it on unless you're with them.
Huh?
You don't have to have it on unless the structure 1.5 times the
Yeah.
structure if you're outside that range.
Right.
Yeah, if you're outside of that range, then, if you got it on, great. I'm not going to tell you to take it off. But anything within that. Yeah,
But if this structure were to fall on someone, is it going to take the firefighter to get that victim away from that debris so the EMT can take charge, or does the EMT rush in and?
If EMS is in structure gear, in bunker gear, then yeah, they can go in. Otherwise, no, the fire personnel are going to put them out and take them to EMS.
I would think that if you had people in the structure, whether it's to try to drag the victim out or just trying to fight the fire, that you would want your EMS people there at the ambulance in their normal clothes, to where if you get drug out with a 3rd-degree burn on your arm, they're not having their dirty structure gear drop into brand wounds. I think anytime EMS is there, it's always nice, what ifs. I guess the worst case scenario is you only have 2 firefighters show up to a house fire and they're inside fighting the fire, and our 2 EMTs are the only ones outside and they've got to rush in there. Well, if it's that shorthand, we don't go in the structure. But if there's 6 firefighters on scene and we have our EMT and paramedic there, they need to be at the ambulance ready for smoke inhalation or burns. But I guess you always have to say, well, there's always this worst case scenario thing that could ever happen, and we have to be prepared for that. Do they carry the bunker gear in the ambulance?
It actually is in the EMS. Now that's for the combination. As far as EMTs go, they're not actually assigned bunker. So it's the ones who do the combination that have that. And if they are up on the scene, one of the advantages to them having the gear and having it on is they do get up close to the scene, and they watch the fire personnel to see the changes in their demeanor or their color or something like that, to go up and address it and say, you need to take a break. So that is one advantage, but I do understand what you're saying as far as the having the gear on and dirty. We can avoid that.
So do they keep that structural gear in the ambulance?
It's in the bay next to the ambulance.
So if they get called to structure,
Where the garage.
so if they say there's a fully engulfed structure fire at my house and Seward and St. John Hudson roll to it, I'm assuming since it's a structure fire, ambulance is going to get there. When they get there, they get the hose out, the paramedics show up. Are they going to have their bunker gear with them, or is their bunker gear going to be back station on?
I want to say that they will have it with them, but
So
I
they're
cannot.
gonna throw that dirty bunker gear in a good, clean, sterile ambulance.
I wonder,
Well,
See,
You
that before-
understand what I'm saying?
right, and there is some side compartments on the ambulance that they could utilize that keeps it out of the patient compartment.
Why don't you carry the bunker gear in the back of your truck? I mean, I'm assuming any big structure fire you're gonna be at.
Yeah,
I would sure rather their bunker gear be in the back of your truck than hanging on the hook if we need it. So, I don't know. There's always different ideas. Another question I have, I've talked to quite a bit of the fire departments around. The decision that Good Marshall had made as far as people only getting called out, people can only attend fires if their station is called out to the fire. And I know you guys made that decision because you had a couple individuals that was very gung-ho and would go all over the county to any station that was called out. Talking with several departments around, we have a firefighter from Stafford that managed the grain elevator and sewer. And before you made that decision, anytime Seward got called out, since he was 2 blocks down the road, he would run down, jump in a fire truck, and help Seward because that's where he was during the day. We have 2 firefighters that live in Maxville, but they work for a farm, big huge farm up around the Seward area and north of Hudson. So most of their waking days, they're up there. There's been some fires up there where they actually brought tractor disc over and they brought front end loaders over and they said, you want us to help us jump on a truck and squirt some water because we have our gear with us. No, Maxwell Station didn't get called out. I think that's a ridiculous rule, and I think the decision you guys to make it cross the whole department because you had a problem with 2 individuals was the easy way out, instead of jumping those individuals and saying you've got a problem and either quit or you're off the department. And I would like you guys to consider, maybe next chiefs meeting, you can discuss with all the chiefs and take in their opinions. But in my opinion, it's a silly rule and it hurts the departments and it hurts these smaller departments. So I would like you to look into that. That's all I've got.
As far as the report, do you want me to try and get that report to you guys? You're going to do report?
No, I would say, I just found it very interesting. I mean, I would say if you could get it to us in the first meeting in January, I mean, and basically have, you know, how many runs they've made so far this year, how many meetings they've made so far this year, and when their bunker gear and auto fire gear, you know, expire.
As far as the structure gear, wildland gear, that is one of the things that unfortunately 10 years ago was hard to do because it wasn't documented. The program that we use right now, that is the same program that got that up, all of that will be logged, and it will be an in-service date and an expiration date for all of that gear. And it will all be filled out before any of that gear is signed. Because we're going to have better gravity.
I just figured that you'd probably make at least one meeting to every department before January, and you can go around and, I mean, do they bring their gear to their meetings?
Yeah, most of them keep it there, right?
I mean, are you saying you can't give us that data? You can't give us when it expires?
He's saying from 10 years ago, they wouldn't bring it there.
Okay.
Right, and
But
it's-
I mean, you can't get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I could get it. If you guys wanted that report next week, I would go around
Yeah.
and
January, first meeting in January would be great.
I have one little thing. Last week, the total cost of the equipment was
$37.50.
71, 37, 50.
$437.50.
Right. That didn't sound great. So, it is $43. I actually got a hold of the company and asked them to completely redo the quote specific to what was approved. And so I have, it is $43 per set.
We were at 25.
So what's the total supposed to be?
The total for freight would be $1,075 every week.
So is that freight from Bartlett, Kansas? Or is that freight from the company?
I think
it's
it's
made?
freight from the company.
Where's it made?
Well,
It'd be something if it was in Wichita and we're paying $2,000 to get it freighted out here.
Road trip.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If it's within a couple hundred miles, maybe we'll just go pick it up.
right. No, it is, I know it's in a different state, and a lot of the materials now are actually made overseas. So that's one of the reasons why the tariffs are gonna start hitting. They're being manufactured overseas and now they're being shipped in. So,
Which Bartlett, Kansas?
it's in the very southeast Kansas, down by Parsons.
So we're gonna have to revise.
I never heard of Bartlett,
The
Kansas.
structure here. The structure.
This is the structural gear, yes. Yeah, the wildland gear is not being replaced. It'll be 2023, 2024 when it expires.
All you need to do is approve the freight, the possible freight, since you've already approved the $70.
So yeah, we had to make a motion to approve the freight of $1,075.
So moved. Sorry.
Second, that we approve the freight charge for the structural gear of $1,075. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Okay.
You guys, the second.
What was it?
10.
I hope they take all 15 minutes.
Discuss non-elected personnel, 10 minutes. I make a motion to take an executive session for 10 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel.
Second, we're going to executive session for 10 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel. Who do you want present?
Just commissioners and so.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
So this is the stats for September. And the first page is 2018 stats, and then the second one is 2017. But I kind of, so you can look at one, I put in for the month of September. I broke that into the left of the page, and then year to date for 2017, I put to the right, so you can kind of compare that. I'll do the, look at the year-to-date ones on the right. You'll see that year-to-date for 2018, our acute census days were at 91. Last year, 2017, we were at 84. So we had 7 census days, increase of 7 census days year over year. Our skilled swing census days flew down. We are at 824 for 2018. Last year, we were at 672. So 152.
Hold on, did you say? Back up here on your average length of stay where it says DVIO, right up here. What?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because those are formulas, taking the stuff up from above. And for like the month of August, those are all zero. So the formula airs out,
Okay.
basically. And then the other ones for October, November, December are airing out because we haven't put those stats in there. On intermediate, skilled intermediate census days for the year we're at 472. 2017 we were at 103, so we're up 269 on that. Physical therapy is also up. We're at 3,167 treatments and evaluations. Last year we were at 2,276, so 891 treatment increase year to year. Occupational therapy, we're also up. We went from 202 and 17 to 283 for 18, so 81 increase. Speech therapy, we're up 31. We were at 41 for 17, now we're at 72. Total radiology, we're down.
You skipped the,
Respiratory.
yeah, do we
So-
not do that?
So, On the stats for 17, we weren't keeping track of respiratory therapy, so I don't have those stats for that, but you can kind of see where we are so far. Any indication, Joe, do you think that that's up from 17? That's where you guys?
I really couldn't tell you because it's usually patients that are in like the skilled swing. So I would kind of assume maybe we were up a little bit because our skilled swing days have been up. But it's like 3D treatments that patients, like skilled swing patients would have.
Okay.
So I'm really not for sure what I think.
Is it true, like Medicaid, this year, we've had 0 patients?
Medicaid?
The inpatients,
On acute Medicaid, yes, we've had 0 Medicaid.
as far as inpatient, the outpatient or ER.
Who's you on politics? Because you have 0. Medicaid expansion will save us.
Well,
I think where so Medicaid is typically younger patients, whereas Medicare is older. So if someone's coming to the hospital for services and they have Medicaid, just on average, they're probably more likely to be seen in the emergency department. You know, not to say they're never get admitted if they're sick enough, but whereas Medicare patients are more often than admitted. Where we'd see the biggest advantage of Medicaid expansion would be our self-pay patients coming into the ER that could have been on Medicaid. So we have to evaluate patients in the ER regardless of their ability to pay. But if more of those patients had Medicaid instead of self-pay, we'd be able to collect some. So in that respect, there's a whole lot of loss that we have from just having to provide services for some groups that may not cover. The other thing is it helps decrease costs. If you're self-pay, you can't negotiate with the hospital. If you're Medicaid, it keeps the rates down, so there's less charges to the hospital.
That's Medicaid pay. 50% will pay of the total bill.
No, that's Medicare pays. Medicaid has a set rate for each service. So there's 5 levels of ER. It could be anywhere from $100 to $500.
But it's, no matter what the charge is, they get paid whatever their rate is.
Right, with the published rates.
Okay.
Radiology.
Yeah, radiology. So our total radiology was down just a little bit. We were at 1,054 in 17 year to date, and we're at 1,038 for 2018. Total laboratory testing is up. So we were at 22,521 in 17, and now we're at 25,150 for 18. So we have an increase of 2,629. Our emergency department patients were down. We are at 485 year to date for 17, and now we're at 451. So that's a 63 patients down from year to year. And we think that probably some of that is just with the clinic opening. But it's not instead of going to the ER, where they're now seeing the clinics. And then
If it's not needed, because there's limited clinic access, often you go to the ER stops. If they go from the clinic instead of the ER, it's beneficial for them.
And then our home health visits are also down. We were at 474 visits for 17, and we're at 325 for 18, so 149 visits down. But you can see overall, in most all areas, we are growing and increasing from 17 to 18. So we're doing good. So. Any questions on that?
You have an extra one?
Yeah. All right, so we'll start with, the first sheet is our balance sheet. You'll see that our total current assets at September 30th of 2018 was $3,342,000. Last year at the same time, we were at $1,889,000, so there's a $1,453,000 increase. Most of that's in the first line, which is cash. We had a $1,363,000 increase year to year. And most of that is in June, we bought some cost report money to cover the 2017 cost report filing. And they also, at the same time, looked at our stats for 2018. And so we got $924,000 in June for 2017's cost report and $499,000 in 2018 so far. Kind of an interim payment. And last year we were kind of in a situation where we got the cost report money, we needed to pay a lot of numbers, but we're in a lot better situation right now. So we've been able to take out money and kind of hold on to that a little bit more in the next year. Our net property, plant, and equipment is at $644,000 for 18. Last year we were at $581,000, so we've got a $63,000 increase there from year to year. Most of that is kind of what I explained last quarter that I was here. Not really any changes from that, but we had to repair a row on the home health building, replace a row on the home health building. We bought a couple pieces of equipment. One of them was a Omnicell, and then one was a iStat machine. The only thing different that we bought since the last time was we purchased a transport unit, and that was about $20,000.
What's your transport van for? You guys transport the patients?
Yes, so if we have patients in our skilled or ISB status, which people are transportation outside specialists, and that purpose also to pick up patients. It's a big benefit to facilities that are referring patients to a skilled place. They have to make those arrangements. They have to get a septic doc, and services are appropriate, and they have to get transportation. So we, now with that, we have a van that makes it a lot easier for other facilities to say, hey, we have an advantage. You can send them to the hospital. We've seen facilities a lot of those being able to help the referring facilities.
We're bringing our total assets for 2018 to $3,987,000. Last year we were at $2,170,000. On page 2, you'll see that our total current assets are at $5,667,000. Last year we were at $2,682,000, so there's been a $2,985,000 increase. You'll see most of that sitting in accounts payable. It's increased $3,177,000. If we break down, so at September 30th of 2018, our account payable balance is at $5,475,000. And if we break that down, $5,345,000 of that is what's due to CPC Stafford, and $130,000 is what's due to other non-CPC. And we are current on our non-CPC Stafford. We're staying with 130 days. Our total long-term liabilities are at $2,030,000. Last year we were at $2,032,000, so we have a $52,000 decrease, and that's just some of our debt and occupancies that we've just paid on from year to year. If you add up the current and the long-term liabilities, our total liabilities for 2018 is at $7,697,000. Last year we were at $4,760,000.
Oh, let's see that. $7 million number?
Yeah, if you add up what the first two that I said, if you write it in there,
Okay.
yeah.
It's $7 million what?
697,000. All right, any questions on that?
On the long-term portion, notes payable, that was $463,000. What kind of a note is that? Was that like a note to buy something, operating note? You guys know what that is?
The 360, and then the also goes in there, and then,
Yes, we have a home sold debt, we have 360, for
operating
Operating
cash
Yeah.
that we pay monthly.
the,
I think that's falls into the long-term portion of it.
yeah.
The 360 is the heating and HVAC stuff, and then
Is the operating note just about paid up?
It was a 5-year note.
Yeah.
Started 2 years ago.
yeah.
3 years ago.
On the next page, I'll look at the numbers on the right-hand side of the page. The left hand is for the current month, and then year-to-date is on the right-hand side. Our total patient revenue came in at $2,723,000. Last year, we were at $2,212,000, so we had about $511,000 increase. And most of that is due to the stats that have gone on here, the increase and increase revenue. Our total deductions, once we take those into account, our net patient service revenue came in at $5,299,000, and last year we got $3,990,000. So we have a $1,391,000 increase from year to year. On the next page, if you add up like the first 3 lines, that's our other operating revenue, and that came in at $393,000. We got the numbers up.
Hold on just a second.
So see if you add up, it doesn't, the form doesn't add it up, but if you add up these first 3 lines
Oh.
right there.
Okay.
Yeah, doesn't add them up, but our total operating, our other operating revenue was $393,000. Last year, at $379,000, so we're about $14,000 increase on that. When you add that in with the net patient service revenue, our total operating revenue came in at $5,693,000. Last year, we got $4,287,000. Our total operating expenses year-to-date for 2018 is at $6,339,000. Last year, we got $5,352,000, so we've had about a $987,000 increase. And most of that is sitting in salary and wages, employee benefits, our contract services, and our purchase services. That's all labor. And if you add up all those, we had an $855,000 increase there. And some of that is due to, you have increased revenue and you have to have increased staff. So that is accounting for some of that. And then we moved some of the employees from 17 we were employees at hospital. And then 18 we're in the middle of 17 and we was over to contract labor. So that caused a little bit of an increase too. Our non-operating revenue came in at $5,000 year-to-date for 2018, and we were at $22,000 last year. Bringing our year-to-date net loss at $640,000. Last year we were at $1,042,000. So we have increased our loss year-over-year by $401,000. I did star. You'll see the ones that I starred. Those are, if you remember from last time, those are the ones that was in that resolution. Yeah, and if you add those all up, we're at $494,000. That's all our help. So we're over what we had. Any questions on that?
Under salaries and wages, when you're paying your employees, does that go under contracted services or under salaries and wages?
It goes under contracted services. So we only have one employee right now that is on the hospital side. So that employee's wages are under the salary and wages. And then that employee's benefits are under employee benefits. And then the rest of the staff is contract labor, and so it goes under contract services. And CDC staff, and like I said, just employees' benefits.
So when you call them contract services for the employees, do you send them a 1099 or a W-2?
They're
They're
employees.
They're employed by CDC staff, but not employed by the hospital. So CDC staff would send them.
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you contract.
Okay.
And a couple kind of highlights, I think, things that are new since we last talked on these. One is, like Katrina said, we set aside some cash. We did some calculations of how much operating cash we should have at the hospital, how much cash we should have set aside ready to pay back to the government for future cost reports. And it's too early to estimate real well, so we try to be conservative in that. So we set aside $1 million for CDs with our local banks to offset the future potential paybacks on cost report. If we're lucky and payback is much, or we're not going to pay something back, there's a lot of possibilities. Obviously, that puts us in a position that either having the cash on hand for the project or to pay an asset. Having the days cash on hand where we want it to be, having the money set aside for the cost report, and having our non-CPC vendors pay down. Now we've, for the first time, kind of been able to look at catching up some of the back payments for CPC, which is important because we can't just continue to accumulate that. We've got to put ourselves on an end of that, putting others as a priority, but at some point we have to implement that, so we've been able to swing some of that. And then equipment, so one thing we've done different, we had to purchase some equipment. Hematology analyzer, telemetry unit, and hospital generator. Most hospitals, what they'll do is they'll contract with a leasing company, capital leasing or something like that, because hospitals a lot. But when we go and look at some of those contracts we've done with other hospitals, we look ultimately at the leases, but I convert it to loans, and it's APR on the principal, and usually you're in the teens on that. And so what we did is we said, let's talk to the banks here. We talked first about the possibility of just doing loans, which you can't because of the way it's structured in Kansas. So the banks here were willing to do leases, so we were able to do leases locally and keep some of the business local and get better interest rates on them. And so
It's really, it's a capital lease, so it's like a loan.
Yeah.
So basically, at the end, after you get done leasing it for about a year, then you get to buy a piece of equipment from that. So you really, it's equivalent to like a loan.
You just said you get a better interest rate than anything else.
Well, get a better
Local.
interest rate and able to keep it local. And so when it came
That'd be better interest rate.
I think we were around 5-6%, so probably about half as much as we get with doing other stuff and then keeping money.
And those have not shown up in fixed asset yet. The things that you said that they will show up. Probably the hematology will show up in December or November. Or I don't know when we'll end up paying purchasing it.
Because they're bringing it November 20th, and
Okay, so probably
it'll be
November.
December.
So if it gets put, whenever it gets put into service is when it will show up in the financials.
in December, then when it's actually go live, they bring it and set it up and train them. Go live is in December.
And those will show up in the other one, or the budget in there.
I haven't heard of installed until
But those are in progress.
And we found the banks to be really good to work with here, both on the CDs and on the leases. So, taking, like I said, just keeping it in the savings account, we were able to make probably $30,000 or $40,000 off of it. And so that's good. We kind of get on the side of it.
Amazing. And you went to there, then you can change the rates. Any more questions on that? Okay, and then I'll just give you guys that's our, listing of the outstanding at 9:30.
And everything is current within 30 days? Except for the CPC.
And most everything, unless it's just gone over to pay it right after. I mean, it's teeters back and forth between the under 30 and
Except it is all over there.
maybe on September 30th it might be.
Which kind of natural benchmark is 45 days. But for Black Access Hospitals, it's usually higher than that. So,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot less strain off of the cash too now that we're caught up, because now we're just still trying to go back, we're just paying the front, so maybe the hospital opportunity.
It's also good, if there is a curveball, if something happens unexpected, the patient might drop off for an extended period of time, and get the payment of that unexpected component of that. Having cash in the bank, having cash in CDs, being caught up with your AP, all those are opportunities to stretch the hospital out. Whereas if you're maxed out on your AP, everyone's cash on demand, and you have no money in the bank, you can shut a hospital down in a couple of weeks.
So when do you think you'll start getting some idea of what your reimbursement will pay back for next year?
For that, probably April. As we end the year, we'll do some rough estimates, and we've been able to get within 10-20% of where the auditors cost repairs coming out. But we have to wait till all the accounts settle, all the equipment settles out, and that takes usually they don't let people start that process until about mid-March, and so they'll do the audit, and then once they get at least a rough draft of the audit, so that we know there's not going to be variance in the cost report, so we have more accurate cost reporting. So we'll probably have an idea in April, and probably it'll be all firmed up about it.
They want to use all your numbers, so they all that.
But you guys start making your guesses around here, right?
Start checking.
Yeah, actually, the guesses that we've had from a couple of companies, these two have been way closer on the guesses, so.
Yeah, actually, their guesses were about 30%. Ours, 70% there, and ours were about 10%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey Todd, when's you guys' next board meeting?
The 19th.
Of November?
Yes.
Yes.
Uh,
Sorry, I answered for you.
No, I was going to say, you got the right one.
What time is it?
If you want to eat with us, come at 5:30.
5:30, they start
We'll
at
feed
6.
you.
I'm starting to get slowed down, so I'm going to try to make some moves. All right, thank you. Thank
Can I
you.
have your number so I can call you later?
Yep. Yep. Here, 546-3799.
3799.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
myself.
All right, thanks, sir.
Mr. Fisher.
It's a wonderful day in paradise.
Are you just taking up space, waiting?
I am avoiding a few things this morning downstairs,
I see.
so it was late night, so I ended up going over to Pawnee County to assist Pawnee County with an issue they had at Kansas Department of Corrections last night. So had a little bit of a prison problem, so got everything self-contained and taken care of by about midnight. I was back home, so
Was
about
he nabbed
12:30.
in St. John?
Huh?
Was he nabbed in St. John?
No, this would have been the Kansas Department of Corrections
Oh.
issue. So everything was handled great, and there was no problems at all. And I called Sheriff King and I heard what was going on. He said, "If you want to come over, come over. I'd take the help." So
So I kept sheriff in the loop what was going on. Of course, then the two sheriffs started talking back and forth. So, but went Roadwood, no officers got there. I think they had a few little minor injuries with some prisoners, but no big deal.
Was there a red light and siren coming down K-19?
That would have been me last night. So I was.
I gotta tell Lori she was right. Relayed a bit. She goes, "You hear those sirens? There's no sirens."
That guilty as charged. So I can contest that was me. So
Okay, so tonight at 7.
Yeah, here, right here. Right? You're the fire chief for Hudson.
yes, sir.
On the run logs that I went through, you guys your department up there. It looks like you have a really active department.
I do. And I got a big territory, and I am not afraid to call for another station when I need it. I mean, you take into consideration, I pretty much have all of Quivira. So if Quivira needs something, I mean, we're an assisting agency to them, and vice versa. Quivira is real good with us too. That if they hear something kind of close, remotely close, hey, we'll come out and help you guys. No problem. We've got staff. But I've got some really, really dedicated personnel, and they take a lot of stress off me because I don't have to physically be there all the time to make sure that I make everyone. Now, however, we get called out in the middle of the night, and I can see down the station from my house, and I can look, I got 4 or 5 cars there. Okay, I know that I got trucks going. I can take the county vehicle. I have my gear with me at all the times, so I can kind of work out of my vehicle. And if I need to do both sides, which is commonly what I end up doing, I can. It makes my job a little bit easier, but still, during the same token, I come from St. John to a fire call, and hey, if we're short staffed, I got my gear, I'll hop on the truck and go. So yeah, we do have some dedicated personnel. I have some young blood, so, and trying to recruit a few more to get up there too. So
Definitely good looking.
Anything else, Kurt?
No.
Fine. We're adjourned.